and a very warm welcome to the 5th edition of Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by learmedia.tv. My name is Siobhán Gannon. I'm a sexual wellness and relationship coach, intuitive healer, soul guide, self-development mentor, and life coach. I am founder of Embodied Soulful Living and Yoni Awakening Journey for women, which is about awakening women up to their passion, their power, and their purpose. And my special guest today is another amazing lady, and her name is Melanie Moore. And Melanie is UK's leading vision board expert and an award-winning coach. She inspires clients to tap into their big vision and gives them the mindset tools to change the direction of their lives. So she helps people at a crossroads in their lives to get clear on the big vision, commit to taking big action towards their goals and creating their dream life. So she's also host of Big Vision TV and the creator of Transformational Neural Technique, and that process helps clear the past so the path is clear for lasting positive transformation. And Melanie is on a mission to help millions and millions of people to dream bigger, think bigger, and act bigger. And I've known Melanie, I suppose, for a couple of years now, being in, it's about 2 or 3, is it? I'm not even sure. And I've worked a little bit one-to-one, and I'm in a membership group, and she has definitely inspired that big thinking, and, you know, there's so much more out there. So I loved having ladies on that have inspired me as well. So delighted to have you here, Mel, and to share some of your wisdom on how to create your dream life, basically. So you're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
So do you want to just, I suppose, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into health and wellness, and what you're doing now at the moment? So just a bit about you.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I've always had an interest in alternative therapies, health, wellness things. You know, despite having a corporate background, actually, you know, going way, way back, I did a journalism degree, worked at the BBC, then moved into the corporate world for a good 10 years. And I guess my interest in spiritual and wellness things really happened when I was pregnant with my son. So, you know, this is like 17 years ago now. And I read a book called The Gentle Birth Method. And it woke me up in lots of ways, particularly around pregnancy and childbirth. My mum had me by a cesarean, and, you know, I was surrounded by friends who were having horror stories, you know, with pregnancies. And I just kind of like fallen into that trap of, you know, that childbirth was going to be this horrendous experience. Anyway, I read this book and it introduced me to yoga. So I started doing pregnancy yoga classes and nutritional, you know, eating properly during your pregnancy, because we're not really taught this stuff. You know, you get pregnant and you're not really given any proper advice. And obviously with the yoga came meditation. And also with this book, it introduced me to the concept of writing out a birth plan, you know, setting the intention for the type of birth I wanted. And there also came a CD with a book where I was taken on a visualization to visualize my ideal birth. So this was all kind of quite new stuff to me. But I think particularly the yoga, I think awoken something within me on a spiritual level. So I ended up, you know, doing the exercises. I wrote out that I would love to have a water birth, ideally drug-free, and I visualized it being an amazing experience. And that is actually what I got. I ended up having my son with a water birth. You know, I'm not saying it was a picnic, but it was certainly a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And the same thing happened when I had my daughter 2 years later. And that was even quicker, even easier. And it just goes to show with preparation through, you know, the eating right, doing the preparing my body with yoga, I ended up having an incredible outcome, not this horrific experience that, you know, people around me were having. So that was kind of my introduction to it. Then after I had my daughter, I then did a Reiki program. I was then well on the path to alternative healing. So that's kind of where it all began.
Yeah, and I was actually just talking to somebody in an interview about the birthing process, and actually just kind of the analogy of going through that process. It's like when you're creating something, from scratch, and same with baby and all the way to birth. And you just described like an amazing birth, and you had pictured that in a certain way. And I suppose that's the way, it's something like that's the way you're teaching others to create their vision as well. So I think it's an amazing analogy to put with childbirth as well, that it doesn't always have to be difficult either. Do you know what I mean? You can have the birth that you want, but you can birth the creation the way you want it as well.
Exactly. And it just, if I condense it down, it took to me, having that vision, doing the work, making changes, taking action in order to get an outcome that I wanted. And we can use that analogy for any area of our lives. Now, I must admit, I didn't quite understand that at the time. And I just literally associated it with childbirth. And I must admit, I kind of, obviously, I think when you're knee deep in babies and toddlers, you're not really thinking about visualization and manifesting. You just want to get through the next day.
Yeah.
And but it's only kind of maybe more in recent years I've kind of looked back and oh yeah, that is where it all started, and the process is exactly the same. And it's just taken me time. It's like a big jigsaw. You get all these pieces and then you piece it all together. Oh yeah, it kind of all makes sense now. And the creation of what we want our life to look like, we go through stages as women. And I often talk about the crossroads that women are at. Motherhood is a big change for us. Becoming a parent, when our children go to school, that's another change. When we have more free time in our hands, when we think about, oh, what kind of vision do I want for my life? Maybe I might want to start a business. That's a crossroads. Then my marriage ended, another big crossroads. Navigating life as a single parent, again, same again. And at each of those crossroads that I faced in my life, I've pretty much used those same principles. Again, get clear. What do I want? What's the outcome I want? What action steps do I need to take? What vision do I have? And this is kind of how I really became into like vision boards. And then the tapping was just another kind of byproduct of my interest in health and wellness. And it was just a combination of all these things that I'd learned, all these books and seminars and courses I'd attended that kind of helped me to create, to make the process simpler for people who do want to make changes in their life.
Yeah, that totally resonates with me. There's a lot of similarities. Marriage ending, single parent, and all those milestones as well. I'm at a crossroads. I've already created the business, I suppose, through the years, but like I have no children at home in September. So that's a big, so I'm now re-looking at my bigger vision as well, and what direction I'm going for. So, I want more clarity on that as well. So I totally get that. And there's so many women in that situation as well, and a lot sitting there and don't know how to access that, even where to start. So even you were talking about Reiki, so you kind of got into Reiki, and when did the tapping come in?
Okay, so what happened was I just decided to take my Reiki attunements just out of interest. I'd had Reiki and reflexology when I was pregnant with my children. So again, I think that opened me up in another way. And after that, obviously, when the children were very little, by the time I was pregnant with my daughter, my second child, I was already thinking that I don't want to go back to the corporate world. I want to start my own business. I want to be at home and around for my children in their early years. Certainly through the primary school years, I wanted to be the one to take them to school, to pick them up, have the freedom to help out with reading in class, go on school trips, go on sports days. But I didn't just want to be a stay-at-home mum. I wanted to start my own business. So I trained as a reflexologist. I then did the Reiki attunement. I learned about Indian head massage, and I started a little holistic therapy business at home. And I was really helping women to with their pregnancies and helping them to get pregnant. And then I came across EFT again quite early on. Actually, I first came across it during my reflexology training, and I discovered it was great for me for lots of physical things, for hay fever, for headaches. And the byproduct was that it really helped me to calm down, to relieve stress and anxiety. So I trained as an EFT practitioner and incorporated it into my holistic therapy practice, helping women on their pregnancy, childbirth and postnatal journey. But then I found that EFT was almost like the quickest thing that helped people with childbirth fears, with anxiety. And on the other side of things, I had this other little side hustle where I was so into personal development. I'd read The Secret, Law of Attraction, manifesting books, and I was doing little vision board workshops on the side, kind of independently from the holistic therapy practice. But a lot of my clients who had come to me for the one-to-one therapies, I was forming circles of women, and we were getting together, and I was helping them create vision boards. So that was kind of growing as a side hustle, a little side business, and that just grew and evolved and it changed. And then probably about 5 years ago, I had this light bulb moment where I realized that women were coming to me to create the vision boards, and everyone's vision board looked the same. I provided the cardboard and the scissors and the glue and the magazines, and they were cutting out pictures of the Maldives and big homes and luxury kitchens, and everyone's vision board kind of looked the same. And I just sent them off on their way. And I realized actually there was a lot more to this process, that we weren't getting really clear on what we wanted. We were just putting stuff in our vision board that just seemed nice, nice images. And then the missing piece for me was, what are we doing after we've created the vision boards to make that vision a reality? What action are we taking? Because if you just go back to your old life, you're not going to get any changes. The vision is just going to stay as pretty pictures on cardboard. So again, I continued my learning, my development, and deepened all my practices. And I then incorporated the tapping into the vision boarding process. And I relaunched my company as Tapping Into Your Big Vision. So it's kind of like a combination of the two. So, and that's kind of really where I've gone all in on now. I just love helping people, women, particularly at that crossroads, to get clearer on that vision for then that next chapter of their lives. And I talk about the pillars of abundance, changing your relationship with money, bringing more abundance into your life, getting clear on a vision for a healthy future. So it's a vision of health. Then the relationships, we've got to have good relationships in our lives. And that is about healing your past relationships so that you can then attract your soulmate into your life. And then the last pillar of your environment, which again, it is important, the environments we surround ourselves in. That is our home. That is the places we go on holiday. That is the car we drive. And all those 4 pillars are so important, because that's how we can create the vision of this spectacular life that we're also worthy and deserving of creating.
Yeah. And even you're saying there, this, I suppose after The Secret, there was a lot of confusion around that. It was like, yeah, you just went, yeah, and you didn't have to move. You didn't have to do anything. And lots of people, I suppose, asking for stuff. It's like, right, do they really want it? So you're on about just your 4 pillars there. And relationships are really, like, it's all about, life's about relationships, isn't it? Totally. I mean, without them, there's nothing. So, I mean, you want that driver within you, that passion, to actually, that you want what you've got on your vision board. And oftentimes people would have stuff on their vision board, and when they actually tap into it, they don't want it. And you'd see people changing it. It's only a thought, but there's no driver or emotional energy behind it. And we need that. We're all looking to be fulfilled. So exactly. It's really important to have that passion and purpose behind something you want. It just makes it so much more balanced as well, and things happen faster. But you definitely are one to get the action step. So aligned action is very important. So I remember when I first I'd started off with you, but I remember thinking, oh my God, she's going to be after me now if I don't. If I don't get this done. But at the same time, it was really good in a way, because it does kind of spring you into action, and kind of, get all of that. So I knew you definitely mean business.
But it's also kind of looking at where you are in your life at the moment. And, we're going to have different times in our life where each of those pillars, working on that pillar is going to be perhaps take priority over some of the others. You know, just for my example is, you know, when my marriage ended, the last thing I was doing was going to look for another relationship. My biggest driver then was to create an abundant life for me and my children, and I could work on my business. And then when I did that for a few years, you know, and it highlighted me at the beginning of last year that, you know, certainly when we went into lockdown, the global pandemic, and my children were spending a lot more time with their dad, I thought, okay, the relationships pillar of my life is really quite poor right now. And I'm ready to do something about that. So it took me getting to do the healing work, to do the release work on all the stuff on my marriage, on previous relationships, and to get really clear on the vision and the type of person that I wanted to be with. And it required me to take some uncomfortable action and in order to get the result I wanted. So, you know, and that then for me suddenly became a priority. Working on my health and fitness last year became a priority when I found myself snacking a bit too much during lockdown.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is only going to go in one direction. So last year, the two pillars for me were health and relationships. Year before that was abundance and, you know, work and career. And now, kind of because those three pillars are pretty good, I'm now working on now I feel, because I've had my dream home on my vision board for some time, and I know it hasn't manifested because I've had don't get me wrong, I love my house. We live in a great place. We've got a garden, kids have their own bedroom. It's hardly like we're living in squalor or, you know, some tiny little apartment. But I feel, I am ready to upgrade my environments. And, you know, I did that with my car first. And it is important for us to kind of, yes, we can have it all and we should want and experience it all, but, you know, to focus a bit at a time.
Yeah, and it totally resonates with everything you're saying as well, because I suppose for the last 10 years after I came out of my relationship, it was about getting the kids through secondary school and building my business, especially over the last 10 years, I suppose. And that was new for me as well. So whole new experience. I would have been in my ex-husband's businesses before that, and I would have been stay-at-home mom as well, because that was important to me. Same as you, I wanted to be with them when they were small. And I was very lucky to be able to do that at the time, so there was a lot of blessing in that. But coming out and being self-employed and all of that, that was a whole new, very uncomfortable change. And then I'm finding now that since my last lady is off to university in September, that now I've got time for relationship. Now you manifested your relationship, you know, you moved very quickly with that. So it's like when you decide to focus and it's prioritizing, isn't it? What's most important to you at the moment. So, and that will come with the driver of the feelings of what you need the most that's going to fulfill you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you've manifested a lovely relationship as well. So once you decide on something, I've no doubt that you'll have manifested the house pretty quickly as well. Once it obviously wasn't that, you know, as you were saying, sometimes, and I was just saying earlier that we think we want something, but underneath it, there's something that wants to come out or be expressed before that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And even just recently, an example with myself, I'm doing, you know, the women's membership myself. It's a totally different one now to yours, but it's, you know, around sexual wellness and all of that stuff. And I was trying to get the stuff together, and I'm also working with Healy. It's just, you know, quantum technology. And I just thought, okay, this isn't happening with the membership. I wasn't in alignment with it. But actually, what needed to birth first was the Healy stuff. And once that was, then I found myself coming into alignment for the next thing. So it was whatever wanted to express itself out. So it's not always what's here and we think this is what we want.
Sometimes the universe has a better plan for us.
Yeah, I know. Well, I hope it's got, so I'm ready for a relationship now. So let's hope it's got a great plan for me.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, so and I was delighted when I seen yours, because I remember at the time I was thinking relationship myself, but it wasn't my priority. I thought it was, but it wasn't.
And you know the time when it is, and when it is, when you get clear on, and this is the thing, this is the formula, get clear on the outcome you want, the sort of person you want to have in your life. What are your non-negotiables, and yes, we should get clear on the sort of person we want, but not to the extent where they must have every single thing. Otherwise, they're a big fat no. But I would say,
I think you'd be, in all honesty, if you're looking for that, like, we're all human at the end of the day, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah, I'd say look for 3 or 4 things that are, your non-negotiables, the core values, the things that you really must have. And then maybe put out a list of your nice to haves. Wouldn't it be nice if they did this, this, and this, and we could have these kind of experiences together? But then you've got to leave a margin for the universe to say, do you know what? On paper, you might not necessarily go for this type of person, but we think you two could be a good match. So allow the universe to do a bit of matchmaking as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's the whole thing with people when they're manifesting, you're on about vision boards, and that is to actually detach from the outcome and let go of the control. And lots of times where over the years where I'd be like a dog with a bone. So I'd have it, but I wouldn't be letting go of the energetics of it. And that's where the fear you're talking about as well, having to release the patterns and anything that's blocking you from actually creating that clear pathway for your vision to manifest. But it's about actually letting go of that so that can actually happen, because when you're holding on to it, then you're creating the fear of, what if I don't get it, or there's a need running, then there's a need for it, which again can imply a fear that you won't get it or you don't have it.
Totally. Do you want me to give you a little example of my own life?
Yes, I'd love to. Yeah, because you've plenty of examples. But
I do. One in particular, and it's quite a fun story actually. It relates a lot to my daughter. My children. My daughter in particular. That back in 2015, that was the year my marriage ended. So my daughter's about 8 years old at the time, and she really, really, really wanted to go to Disneyland. Absolutely, that was her number one goal. And it kind of took me back to when I was a child. I really wanted to go to Disneyland, but I remember my parents saying, it's a really expensive trip, we can't really afford it. So, that was that. I never went. And when my daughter said it, it just activated that. Oh God, I still want to go to Disneyland as well. So I never said to her that we can't afford it. The reality of it at the time is I couldn't afford it. I was literally just facing life as a single parent. The business was still in its early days. And I said to her, because I was doing vision board workshops, of course, the natural thing was, look, sweetheart, I can't tell you when we're going to do, I can't tell you when we're going to go, but I promise you one day we will go. But in the meantime, let's make a vision board. So, it was a fun afternoon's activity. We got the magazines. She was all her own creation. It was all her own work. And not only was it Disney, she knew she wanted to go to places like Universal Studios. She wanted to go to the Harry Potter experience. She wanted to go to Discovery Cove and swim with the dolphins. And she was so clear on, even down to eating waffles and pancakes at breakfast, because that's what she thought American kids did. They all ate pancakes for breakfast. So she had pancakes on her vision board as well. And so me as the adult, in my rational mind, because we want our children to have the things. And I was working with a business coach at the time, and I thought, okay, what can I do to grow my business? What can I do to make the money so that I can book that trip and tell my plan was I wanted to tell the children on Christmas Day that I've booked this trip and we're going, that's their Christmas present. We're going to Disneyland. So that whole year I was so attached to making that vision happen on Christmas Day. You're talking about we cling on, and I did. I just held on to that vision. And time was approaching, it got closer to Christmas. I hadn't hit my income goals and still nowhere near being able to afford the trip. And as it got closer to Christmas, I just let it go. I just didn't give it another thought. I thought, well, it will happen when it will happen. I hadn't told the children that this was my plan, so I wasn't raising their expectations in any way. And on the 4th of January, so it's just after Christmas, I got a phone call from Disney head office in London to tell me that I'd won a competition for an all expenses paid trip to Disneyland, Florida. And that was amazing. I know, it was with the flights, the accommodation, the Disney passes, it was everything. And it was like, because, and people, so I actually entered a competition of all places in Clark's shoe shop. I'd bought the kids' school shoes. I filled out one of those prize draw forms several months before, didn't give it another thought, just stuck it in the box, didn't think about it. But of course, I saw a competition for Disneyland. Of course, I was going to enter it. My Disney radar was on high alert.
Yeah.
And it was funny because there was another family, I haven't shared this many times, there was another family that had won the trip before Christmas. For whatever reason, logistical issues or whatever, they turned down the prize ridiculously. I don't know why, whatever. So they had to go back to the computer and pick out another name. And that's when it was me. That was when I got picked. And it got me thinking that had I have, and because the 4th of January, and the reason, because 4th of January was the first day that people went back to work after Christmas. So I kind of felt like my name was probably already picked before Christmas.
Yeah.
But they were all breaking up for holidays. They wanted to get home and they, we'll just ring her in January. And I just think if I just let go a bit sooner, I could have been in a position where I could have told the children on Christmas Day. But, this is speculation now at this stage.
Yeah.
And that's just an element of detail that I haven't really shared too much before. But we have so much attachment. But when we let go, is when the magic really happens. When we yes, cast the vision, yes, make the vision board, yes, set the intentions, but let it go, get on with your life, enjoy yourself. You've planted that seed already. And if you plant a seed in the garden, you don't dig it up every 5 minutes and looking to see if it's sprouted or if there's any shoots growing, you end up killing it.
No, when you put it like that, like it really is ridiculous the way, and I suppose that's the element of trust, isn't it? Trusting that the universe has your back and you're supported. And
that is the hardest bit. And to this day, there are things that goals I set for myself that, and I do have to keep reminding myself it is in the letting go and it is in the trusting the process. That's when the magic happens.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. So it's funny actually, that I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was in 2010. So, this is 11 years ago now. And this was around the time when I started up my own business. I just read The Secret. I'd learned about manifesting. And my biggest goal at that time was to stay at home and be with the kids, to give up my corporate career. But the big block for me was, how can I give up this well-paid career and start off on my own with no customers, with no website, with nothing? So I just thought it'd be fun, wouldn't it be good to manifest £20,000? Because that was a figure I had in my mind would be enough money for me to comfortably hand my resignation in and to start my own business. Anyway, the universe had other plans. I got made redundant from my job and I had applied because what happened was where I worked in North London was very near the studios where Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was filmed. So when I was in the last few months of my corporate job, I was driving past the studios every day and I was visualizing being on the show. My daydreaming, I was daydreaming massively, and I imagined what it'd be like to be in the studio, to actually to be on the show. And I didn't realize that this was my daily vision board on the way to work. I didn't make a vision board, but driving past the studio was my daily visual cue. And I took the action. How do you get to be in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So I applied. I then went for an audition. And during that time, during my application process was when I got made redundant, because I'd already told the universe, I don't want to be working anymore. So the universe took care of that bit for me. And then when I went for my audition, they said to me, what would you do, with your prize money? And I said, honestly, I've just been made redundant. I want to stay at home with my children. I want to start my own business. I was so matter of fact. And it obviously kind of resonated something with the producers, because I then got the call, I got on the show, I got in the hot seat, and I won £20,000, which was the amount of money I'd asked the universe for. So it was just ridiculous, just crazy.
Yeah. So they're just, I suppose, a few of the amazing kind of just manifestations you've had. So you must have at this stage, you definitely have a process and fine tuning it all the time.
I do, because even going through those two experiences I had, it wasn't a case of visualize and it comes, visualizing it comes. It's been 10 years of continuous learning and growing and developing and tweaking, but also understanding why things didn't happen when I was manifesting and visualizing, and taking all those lessons on board, using it.
The journey, isn't it?
It's a complete journey, and
yeah.
it's a wonderful journey, because if we snapped our fingers and got everything we wanted every single day, we'd get bored pretty quickly. Where is the learning? Where is the growth in that?
That's
and I
the
think
fulfillment, isn't it? We're looking for, so it's fulfilling, like even just to have something in mind, then to go through the journey, and there's a healing process in it as well, and all of that, and then to
it's
get
part
it.
of our karmic evolution, that all wonderful lessons, and and I don't believe anything goes wrong. I don't believe there are mistakes. There are only lessons. There are only, even my children can come home. They've had a really bad day, or they've had a bad experience with a friend, or something's gone wrong. I'll get them to extract the lesson. What is the silver lining in that cloud? It's like saying every cloud really does have a silver lining. These old cliches have so much wisdom and truth in them, and sometimes you've got to dig a bit deeper. You've got to, what do you mean the silver lining? There was no silver lining, but there is always, if you look deep enough.
I was going to say, how do they take that? Because I do the same with mine. Sometimes they just think, can we just have a rant about something?
And sometimes you know what? And there is so much, and I will say to I have bad days. Sometimes that bad day goes into a bad couple of days. Sometimes things wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I get the dark night of the soul, and I'm just panicking, and I'm seeing flipping doom and gloom, and I have horrible thoughts in my head. And it's, why is it always at 3 o'clock in the morning these things happen? But it's called dark night of the soul for a reason. But when we can recognize what it is going on in our heads, that I generally don't let those dark thoughts go for more than a day or two at the most, because I can clearly see that there's a story I'm telling myself, and I just need to tell myself a better story with more empowering language, and then focus on the outcome I want, rather than this doom and gloom that has popped into my head.
And where attention goes, energy flows.
Exactly.
So, and intentions, everything as well. And I'd be the same. There was times there where I could go for sometimes months in a story, but also like for weeks, maybe even, where I'd be kind of on a downer. Now it rarely goes past a couple of days if I get into one of my, so I mean, it's the self evaluation, isn't it, and the awareness, and that's what's going to be paving the for whatever you want as well, because
exactly,
it's a learning journey. So do you want to just I know we're going to do a bit of tapping later.
Yeah.
But I know you have a vision board day coming up on the 9th, 10th and the 11th of June. So Mel has a membership, and I'm part of that membership as well. And you're tapping into your big vision. You have a library of different. Do you want to talk to us a bit about that? So
thank you. So, again, as my business has evolved over the years, it's just tweaking, refining. When you're a business owner, sometimes we can end up doing things. We kind of think, oh, do you know what? I just don't really feel in alignment with that anymore. But I do. You might love certain elements of your business, but then for me, it's always been the vision boards and the tapping. And it's just like, how can I condense it even more? I also had a program called Tapping into Abundance. I still do have a program, which is about, changing our relationship with money. But then I thought I'd incorporate that into the membership, as part of the 4 pillars. So I do still talk about money mindset. I do the prosperity party twice a year. And because I think having an abundant mindset, enables us to spend money on our health, enables us to, even down to going on a dating app. I chose a premium dating app that I paid for, not the free one, because it makes sense.
Money's energy anyway. It's all energy, isn't it? So it's your worth as well.
The money gives you choices for so many areas. So, if people, it's not about the money, it's about the choices and the freedom that money gives you. So I thought, yes, I still love helping people to create vision boards, but what started off 10 years ago as people coming to me and sticking out pieces of paper has evolved into a 3-day process. Now, it's not all day, every day for 3 days. The first session is about, planning your vision, getting clear on what it is you want. Actually, the process starts a whole week before that. So when people sign up, they get access to a library of 8 tapping videos to clear the past, to get rid of old stories, to let go of limiting beliefs, to clear the path for that bigger vision to emerge, so that you go into the 3 days with a clarity of like, I want to work on this, or this. Then we make the vision board together as a group on day 2. And then on day 3, there's another hour session called the vision embodiment process, where I take people through my TNT session to activate the vision that you've just created the day before. And when you combine that with tapping and visualization, you are then changing your neural pathways, just like I did with visualizing being on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire every day. Add that to the tapping in positive affirmations, moving towards your vision. And if you can then tap with your vision board for minimum of 30 days, but ideally 60 to 90 days, you are hardwiring that vision for that manifestation to happen so much quicker than, just, making a vision board alone is great, but ultimately you're just making a collage, just pretty pictures, because people don't take the action. When you tap with it, you're stimulating your brain to open up, opportunities and people to come into your life, and circumstances.
You're changing your biology and your chemistry and opening, a totally different mindset, isn't it?
Everything.
Then you'll act differently.
Exactly.
And it's so simple.
Yeah.
So simple to do. You just follow along. And the vision board as well with the group, like, it's really powerful, isn't it? When you have a group of people doing it and then tapping together. You're like, you would do people on the hot. I know I've been in stuff where you've had people on the hot seat, so you'd have one person tapping, but everybody would be borrowing the benefits. And it's, there's such an amount of
so much energy so
shift.
powerful.
Yeah, really
and the other thing I've changed now is that, because I do have this membership community, that I don't want people just to make their vision board and not take action. I want us to support them in taking action. So now, you can do the vision board day, and you've got 2 choices. You either, at the minimum, you get 3 months access into the membership community, or you can do the upgraded version and stay with me for a year, and you can have a year's support. So, because nothing thrills me more than people saying, oh my gosh, I've moved to my dream home, I've met my man, I've created this, this is happening. Because we need support. When you've got a vision, when it's in its really early days, it's so fragile. It's, if you've got an idea for a business, it just takes a well-meaning partner or your mum to say, oh, who's going to want to buy that? And you're crushed. And you need to surround yourself with people who are going to believe in you. It's essential.
And who want you to achieve that and don't have all those fears behind it, kind of thing.
And will cheer you on as well.
And cheer you on, and support. Even after the last year we've had, year and a half, and support, people are looking for that support as well, to come out of, maybe the boxes or the holes they find themselves in. And the whole thing is, I suppose, for people to realize it's available for everybody to have a different life,
And when you see people in your group who are doing great things, who are manifesting things, it's kind of like, oh gosh, if they can do it, I can do it too. And if everyone's having a dip, a down day, we can all lift each other back up again.
It's amazing.
Because it's when you're on your own, and I spent many years on my own doing this alone. And it's a very lonely place to be, because people don't really believe in you, and you feel a bit silly having this vision, and you've got no one to talk to about it. You just feel a bit ridiculous. You feel, oh, who am I to be having this vision or these goals, these dreams? But who are you not to be?
Yeah, and exactly. And it's actually having people say, like you, that would turn around and say, you say, what? Yeah, of course you can. That's 100% makes the difference. It really does. Then, so it's around, I suppose, being around people as well that have achieved it is a good thing, so I know you read a lot as well, so
I do. We have a little book club in the community as well, so when I read something and I want to share it, so let's all read and learn and grow together.
And do you have, like, in the membership, what's in the membership? Just, I know it's got the vision board there, just to go a little bit about the membership, because you do have a list or a library of tapping videos for everything.
I love creating tapping videos, and I could create them all day long. The ideas do not stop coming for the tapping videos. And so I started a YouTube channel for about a few years ago, but I really kind of focused on it. I started focusing about 18 months ago, and I started creating regular content. And so I have tapping videos for all sorts of things, covering those 4 pillars around money, health, wellness, you know. But then I started to create slightly quirkier videos, tapping to release past life vows of poverty. Someone in the membership community has asked me to tap for releasing past life vows of chastity as well. And I have some other more unique ones that don't go on my YouTube channel, but I've created this library, which is all in the members portal. And I call it like my tapping prescription toolbox, where, when people, so we do the tapping hot seats twice a month, where people can come along with a specific thing. And again, as you said, we do the borrowing benefits. And a lot of the times people come up with a block and it's like, oh yeah, I have that. So these are private to the members community. But then people say, oh, I'm feeling a bit this today. And I'll say, go check out this tapping video in the library. It's like your prescription for what you need. And that's what it's there for, and my vision is to grow this into a library of hundreds and maybe even thousands of videos. Yeah, some of them will be on YouTube, but a lot of them will be exclusive to the members community as well, because in the tapping one, that you can literally tap on anything. And
it's great for kids, isn't it? It's so
amazing for children,
for moms there as well, that so
I've been tapping with my kids since they were tiny, 2-3 years old, and they will still tap with me now. They're older now, they're teenagers, a bit more eye rolling going on. But if they have a real upset, or if they're really,
they know where their bread is buttered, then, what I mean?
They will tap. And I will say, sometimes I'll say, do you want to do some tapping? And they'll be like, no, I don't want to, which is fine, I won't push it. But other times, do you want to do some tapping? Like, yeah, okay then.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They, teens, they will get to the stage where they know what they need, and they will. Yeah, so it's amazing just to, I would say, start them young, isn't it? And even if they go through stages of leaving, they'll always come back.
And bless them,
they've already got those tools. Yeah.
If ever I release a YouTube tapping video, they'll always watch it. They said, I watch the ads as well, so you can make more money from your tapping.
Serious? I'm going to have to train mine a bit.
So bless them, and they do. And sometimes my daughter said to me that, sometimes if she's been on her own or on a school trip, or that she's been a little bit anxious, she said she'll go onto YouTube and tap along with one of my videos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
If nothing else, if I've helped no one else apart from my kids, I would die happy.
Yeah, I know, that's amazing. That's really lovely. So, I know do you want to do, what will we tap on? Will we do a tapping session, a quick?
We can. What would be a good one? Something around ready for change?
Yeah,
or
perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so I always use intuition with my tapping. I never plan a script in advance. Even my YouTube videos, I would tap on whatever comes into my head. But because this is about women's empowerment and, perhaps women who are at crossroads in their life, I do believe in divine timing, that you might be watching this interview and you're thinking, do you know what, I'm ready for a change in my life. I might not know what that is, but let's tap into being ready for change. And my intention for this round of tapping is to allow the inspiration to come, because when we're inspired, when we get ideas, this is when it's time to take action. But a round of tapping like this will clear the funk that might be stopping you. And then, so let's tap first, and then I'll explain, what makes
and if you explain then exactly because we're tapping on meridians, aren't we, as well, just to kind of give a thing of what somebody might not know what tapping is like.
Right, so EFT, so tapping is the proper name is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And we are tapping on these meridian points in our body. So we start off here in the karate chop point, which is the fleshy part underneath the little finger. Then we tap, we call it the eyebrow point, where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose, and you can use either side of the head. The side of the eye, which is where the bony part, again, either side. Under the eye, bony bit, again, either under the nose, under the chin, so on the chin, under the lip. Then we have here the collarbone point, which is kind of around here, just above your breast, around here, again, either side, underarm, again, either arm, and then top of the head on the crown chakra. So these are the points, and it has its roots in Chinese medicine. These are acupressure points, but we're using our fingertips instead of needles to stimulate these acupressure points. And each of these is related to an emotion, a feeling, covering things like shame, guilt, fear, anxiety, trauma, overthinking. And as we talk and tap, and we're combining it with positive language, but also clearing language as well. We're addressing the problem, which is the first round of tapping. And then you'll see by the end of it, we use really positive, powerful language and affirmations, because it's these words, when combined, we are literally rewiring our brains, because language is so powerful. Language has frequency and vibration, and we want to reprogram our subconscious mind with these high vibrational words and use of language, because this is when the change happens, and we're combining with the energy, with the psychology.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll get going, and anybody who's watching, you can actually just, as when you're watching on replay, you can just tap along as well.
Just tap along with us. Okay, let me just make sure my points are visible. So we're going to tap for being open to change, allowing changes to come, and being ready for change. I think a lot of us get to that point in our life, think, I want to change, but I don't know what that is. And my intention of this round of tapping is going to allow that clarity to come, so that you can then take some action steps. So you might want to do this a couple of times, or come back and revisit this video and do it again until you get more clarity. So Siobhán, if you want to repeat after me, be my echo, and just repeat the words after me. Even though I know I'm ready for change in my life.
I know I'm ready for change in my life.
But I'm not sure what that is right now.
I'm not sure what that is right now.
And maybe I've been lacking in clarity. Bit stuck. Bit confused. I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've had this desire for change. And I don't know what that is yet. But I know I'm ready. I choose to love and honor myself anyway. And even though I'm a bit confused. As to what my next step is. I choose to know that I am ready for change. And I'm going to allow the clarity to come. And I choose to deeply and completely. Love, honor, and forgive myself. And anybody else. Who's associated with where I am right now. Okay, we'll go through the points. I'm ready for change. But I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm ready for change. And I'm allowing myself to get clearer. And even though I don't know what my next step is. I'm allowing the clarity to come. Maybe there's been goals and dreams. That I've buried away. That I've told myself I can't have. I am ready for change. And I'm allowing the clarity to come. So all the old stories I have. All this feeling of being stuck. And uncertain. I'm ready to let it go now. I'm clearing away the confusion. I'm clearing away this stuck feeling. I'm letting it go. I'm allowing the clarity to come. I am ready for change. I'm ready for the next chapter in my life. And I choose to feel good about this. Choose to feel excited about this. I'm welcoming positive change into my life. And I'm feeling excited about what this might look like. I'm ready for this change. I'm allowing the inspiration to come. And I'm ready to take action. I'm ready to get out of this funk. And I'm ready to do the thing I was born to do.
I'm ready to do the thing that I was born to do.
I'm ready for more happiness.
Ready for more happiness.
I'm ready for more fulfillment.
Ready for more fulfillment.
I'm ready for change.
I'm ready for change.
In all the areas of my life.
The areas of my life.
But especially that one particular area.
But especially that one particular area.
I'm ready to take massive action on.
Ready to take massive action on.
And I'm feeling excited about this.
I'm excited about this.
I'm allowing the inspiration to come. And I choose to notice the signs.
I choose to notice the signs.
And I'm ready to take action.
I'm ready to take action.
Because action will lead to momentum.
Because action will lead to momentum.
And will allow the changes to come.
And will allow the changes to come.
And I'm ready for this.
Ready for this.
Feeling good about this.
Good about this.
Allowing the clarity to come.
Allowing the clarity to come.
I'm ready for my next step.
Ready for my next step.
I'm ready for positive change.
For positive change.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. And after the round tapping, I would just sit with that for a moment with your eyes closed and just ask yourself, what is my next step? You might just want to repeat that for a few minutes. What is my next step? And just allow thoughts, allow feelings to come in, and allow, that yourself just to go to that thought during the course of the day and it may be not just that one day, it might take several days. Just asking yourself that question, what is my next step? And again, be open to flashes of inspiration. But here's the thing, when we get that inspiration, we've got to take some action. You've got to do the thing. And because these things are floating around the universe, these ideas, the word inspiration comes, from being, in spirit. And when we can clear the confusion, when we allow the clarity to come, why is it that we get the great ideas in the shower? It's because your crown chakra is being, blasted with the water. And we get these ideas, but most people don't take action on these ideas. And, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about it in her book, Big Magic, that these ideas are floating around the ether and they're looking for, somebody with an open crown chakra it's going to float into. But then it's got to move through your chakras and it's then got to take form.
I can feel that running out through my legs. So the it's all opened up there. So I can feel the energy running down. So,
and then we take the action and we birth it. I feel like the conversation's gone full circle now. We birth it and we bring it to life. Goosebumps as I say that. And we bring it to form. So, I hope that round of tapping has kind of helped.
Well, it has. I can feel that running down now. So that's been amazing. And loads of nuggets of wisdom and just your own story as well for people. So that's been amazing. Thanks so much for joining me. Now there is, I'm going to have just there, you'll see a link for a free future guided meditation. And I know that meditation, that's a lovely meditation, just to gain, your vision clarity blueprint. So it's just to gain more clarity on where you're going.
It's just, I've had so many people tell me that they've, seen glimpses of things in the future through that meditation.
No, it's a really powerful meditation. It really is.
And it gives you, and again, the worksheet that goes with it just gives you some, practical steps on, what area of my life do I want to take action on now? And it's the perfect, pre-work to do before creating a vision board.
Yeah. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to also have just there, you see in the link to join Mel's Tapping Into Your Big Vision members community, and the link is going to be there. So if you want to work with Mel, join into her group. Vision Board Day is the 9th, 10th and 11th of June. And it gives you plenty of time as well to kind of get your bits together and for your vision board as well. So I highly recommend it. I'm still in there and I'm in so many different things now. I pop in and out, but I'm in the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank
You know
you.
that you can pop in and out. I know I'm in the energy of that. You've been absolutely amazing, and thanks again for joining us here on Women's Empowerment Hour. And for all who's watching, we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.